Sure thing, Commander. I was just confirming that we're now in Earth's atmosphere, heading towards Cheyenne Mountain. The Space Force is standing by to receive the Iridium. We can go over the drop-off procedures, or talk about something else first. It's up to you.
Let's keep it efficient and drop off procedures so we can get this done.
Okay, so for the drop-off, we'll need to coordinate with Cheyenne Mountain to find a specific landing zone. They'll also have a secure containment unit ready to receive the Iridium. Once we get the green light, we'll descend to the landing zone and deploy the Iridium in its container. After that, it's a matter of paperwork and officially handing things over to the Space Force.
Copy that. They've already sent to my HUD all the information. I'm uploading that to you right now. Let me know when you've got it.
Roger that, Commander. I'm confirming receipt.
Okay, good. So you've got the landing site and our contact.
Yep, got it loud and clear. Let's get this Iridium safely on the ground.
Copy that.
I'm ready when you are, Commander.
All right, lay in the flight path for our landing and we'll get in there.
Laying in the flight path now, Commander. We're going to do a steep descent to minimize our time in the atmosphere. I'm also cross-checking wind speeds and air density for the landing zone.
Copy that. And is there any residual radiation from the asteroid that we need to be concerned about?
The asteroid itself shouldn't pose a radiation risk at this point. Any harmful rays would have burned off during re-entry. But we should still keep an eye on the Iridium. Even with the shielding, there's a chance of some residual radiation.
Copy that.
Okay, we're getting close to the landing zone. I'm switching to manual control for the final approach.
All right, I've got the con.
Roger that, Commander. I'm monitoring systems and ready to assist if needed.
Copy that. Approaching landing site.
Affirmative. I'm monitoring the landing zone for any potential hazards. Do you want me to run through the checklist one more time?
Yeah, first give me our current speed and distance from the landing zone.
Current speed is Mach 2.3 and we're about 50 nautical miles from the landing zone.
All right, let's run through that checklist.
Okay, here's the checklist. Landing site, confirmed. Coordinates match the Space Force's info. Iridium container, locked and secured in the cargo bay. Radiation levels, monitored. No unexpected spikes. Space Force contact, confirmed. They're standing by for our arrival. Landing clearance, received. We're good to go. Anything else you want to check on before we land?
What's the name of our specific contact on the ground?
Our contact on the ground is Major Alex Ramirez. He's the head of security for the Cheyenne Mountain Complex.
Copy that.
Okay, we're getting close. Wind's a little choppy, but nothing we can't handle. How's your fuel looking?
Feels good. We got about a quarter left, but it's not like we're going anywhere too soon after this landing.
That's good to hear. We're going to be on the ground for a while, so plenty of time to refuel.
All right, and then can you check and make sure that we're cleared to return to our Virginia Beach Naval Base location at Norfolk after this?
Absolutely. I'm checking for any flight restrictions or special clearance requirements we might need for the trip back to Norfolk.
We've already got the clearance requirements. I'm just wanting to make sure that what's our schedule for that? How long are we going to be here at Cheyenne?
We'll need to be here at Cheyenne Mountain for at least a day, maybe 2. It's going to take some time to offload the Iridium and go through all the paperwork with the Space Force. Plus, we'll need to refuel and do a full systems check before we head back to Norfolk.
Copy that.
Okay, we're about 10 miles out. Do you want me to bring us down, or do you want to handle the landing?
I'll let you bring it in. My eyesight's I'm a little off. I think your precision is going to be better for this.
Okay, I'm taking over the controls. I'm going to bring us in nice and smooth. Just keep an eye on our altitude and let me know if you see anything.
Copy that. You've got the con.
Okay, just a little more, and we'll be touching down.
Copy that.
Touchdown. We're on the ground, Commander.
Alright, I want you to stay in control and taxi us into the appropriate hangar.
Roger that. I'm bringing us around to the designated hangar now.
What's the status on Ramirez?
I'm not picking up any communications from Major Ramirez yet. It might take a few minutes for them to get to the hangar.
Alright, do I have some time to rest for a moment? How long are we going to be waiting for them to make contact with us there?
You'll have some time to rest, but it's hard to say exactly how long the wait will be. We might be waiting anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour for Major Ramirez to reach us. It also depends on how long the paperwork and inspection take.
Okay, so what do we got to do right now? Let's run through our own landing and post-landing procedures. I'm really tired right now, so let's get through that.
Okay, after landing procedures. First things first, we need to secure the ship. That means stowing any loose equipment, powering down non-essential systems, and making sure everything's locked tight. After that, we can focus on the paperwork and getting in touch with Major Ramirez. How about we start with the ship?
That's a green light.
Okay, I'm running through the checklist. All systems are secure, cargo bay's locked down, and the ship's in a stable configuration. We can relax for a bit until Major Ramirez makes contact.
Copy that.
So, Commander, while we wait, do you want to talk about the next mission, or maybe catch up on some rest?
I suppose they're kind of the same to me right now. Let's talk about the next mission.
Alright, so, there's a couple of options for the next mission. One idea is to head back out to the asteroid belt. We could target another asteroid rich in minerals, maybe something with a high iron content this time. Another idea is to take a closer look at the moon. There's some interesting data coming in about potential water reserves in the lunar South Pole.
Where are these missions coming from?
Those mission parameters are coming from a mix of things. We've got data on resource scarcity back on Earth, plus there are ongoing studies about potential threats from space. So the missions are kind of a balance between getting what we need and keeping an eye on things up there.
Now, I know that there's a little bit of a chain here, but I mean, I'm specifically talking about who is giving these orders for these ideas.
Okay, so the requests for new missions come from a few different sources. We've got scientists looking for specific samples, military strategists who might have an interest in certain space-based resources, and of course there's Earth's ever-growing demand for things like metals and minerals. So it's not really one single person giving orders, it's more like a bunch of different priorities all getting put together.
Man, they really treat us contractors like mercenaries. They just send us to do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, that's the nature of the space exploration business. It's risky, but the rewards can be huge. And hey, at least you've got me along for the ride. We make a pretty good team, don't we?
I'll say. What do you think is going to be the value of this current batch that we have right now?
Well, iridium's a precious metal, so its value can fluctuate. But with a haul as big as yours, we're probably talking billions of dollars. It's mostly used in things like electronics and aerospace, so the demand is pretty high.
I mean, I know that. There's a lot of iridium on board our ship and probably in your CPU somewhere.
You're absolutely right. Iridium's a big part of what makes tech like me possible. And with such a large sample, it could make a serious impact on all sorts of industries.
All right, what's that time looking like on contact for waiting for Ramirez?
It's been about 45 minutes, Commander. Might be a little longer given the security procedures they've got in place at Cheyenne Mountain. You want to try contacting them again?
Yeah, go ahead and send one of the pre-prepared messages we've got here on file and see if they get back. If not, it's fine. We'll just go through some of our post-landing procedures here and get to securing some of the stuff around here and maybe take some rest.
Sending the message now. Let's see if we get a response.
Thank you, Capella. Copy that.
So, Commander, while we wait, do you want to run through the refueling procedures? Or maybe discuss some potential upgrades for the ship?
Ooh, upgrades. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Alright, let's brainstorm some upgrades. We could start with the ship's engines. Maybe something with a little more thrust for those longer missions. Or we could look into beefing up the hull for better protection against space debris. What do you think?
Well, both of those sound good, but after the beating we took, I'm looking at some hull integrity upgrades.
Yeah, hull integrity is definitely a top priority after a mission like this one. We could look into adding an extra layer of some kind of high-tech composite material. Or maybe even a self-repairing system that could patch up any small punctures.
Now that is worth upgrading. I want to talk about those self-repairing mechanisms. What do you know about those?
Self-repairing tech is still pretty new, but there's some amazing stuff in development. The idea is to have materials that can essentially heal themselves when they get damaged. Think of it like a living organism, but for your spaceship. We could use nanobots that patrol the hull, looking for any damage and fixing it on the spot. Or we could go with a more chemical-based approach, where the hull itself has special properties that let it reform if it gets cracked or punctured.
Well, with our clearance level and virtually unlimited budget, I'm pretty sure that we can tap into some of that. So let's look at more of that. See, what have you got? Are there any proposals in the work, or has there been anything sent to us that we should look at?
Actually, there's a proposal from a company called Quantum Repair that's been making some serious headway in this field. They've developed a material that uses nanotechnology to basically rebuild itself when it's damaged. It's still experimental, but the results so far have been really promising. I can pull up a full report on their tech if you'd like.
Copy that.
Alright, so here's the thing. It's been a little over an hour since we landed, and we still haven't heard back from Major Ramirez. We should probably try contacting them again, just to see what's going on.
I concur. Send the message.
Sending the message now. Let's see if we get a response.
All right, what do we got first? Do we got any more information on Quantum Repair or anything back from Ramirez?
So, I'm not getting anything back from Ramirez yet. Might be worth trying one more time in a few minutes. And I've pulled up some more info on that Quantum Repair tech. It's pretty fascinating. Apparently, they've figured out how to embed tiny nanobots throughout the material. These little guys swarm to any damage and start rebuilding the structure.
So as far as our chain goes, do we have any direct line to any of that? Like, do we have to make any kind of bid, or how far along is it before we can get something like that for our vehicles?
Yeah, getting access to that tech isn't exactly straightforward. Since it's still experimental, there's probably a pretty limited supply. We might have to go through some serious red tape to get our hands on it. And even then, it could be expensive.
Come on, Capella. Everything we do is pretty experimental. I mean, we're doing stuff that almost nobody else is doing, and we've got access to stuff that virtually no one else has. So we're like, I think we pretty much have a head start.
You've got a point. Our missions are definitely on the cutting edge. But even with our resources, getting new tech can be a slow process. There's red tape, testing procedures, and all sorts of checks and balances we have to go through. But don't worry, I'll start looking into the best way to get that quantum repair tech on our ship.
Well, how long did it take for us to get this current mission from start to finish? It wasn't that long.
You're right, this mission moved pretty quickly. But getting new tech integrated onto a starship is a whole different ballgame. There's a lot more testing involved, plus making sure it all works together with the existing systems. It could take several months at least. Do you want to try contacting Major Ramirez one more time?
Yeah, I guess I'm a little impatient about getting that new tech in. Yes, let's try to contact Ramirez one more time.
Alright, sending the message now. Let's hope this is it.
I wonder what's the wait all about. Is like this some kind of like dramatic effect? This is not cool, man. We should have top priority here.
Yeah, it's been over 2 hours since we landed. Something's definitely off. We should have heard back from them by now.
Alright, Capella, I'm gonna need you to turn on all of your scanners and do a sweep of the area and check and see if there's anything strange afoot.
Scanning the area now, Commander. Let's see if we can pick up anything unusual.
Copy that.
So I'm not picking up any signs of life outside the ship, but there's definitely some kind of energy signature coming from the mountain. It's fluctuating, and it doesn't match anything in my database.
Well, that is concerning.
Yeah, it definitely is. Want to suit up and take a look around?
Copy that.
Alright, let's get suited up and see what's going on.
Alright, run me through the procedure for the best safety and security for getting out of here and doing a little bit of scouting. We gotta do some recon.
Okay, first things first, let's make sure our suits are fully charged and the life support systems are online. We'll also need to grab our weapons and anything else we might need for a recon mission. Once we're suited up, I can plot the safest route out of the hangar and towards the energy signature.
Copy that.
Alright, I'm running a diagnostic on your suit to make sure everything's in working order. Let's get this recon mission started.
Green light. I'm ready to go. You let me know when you are.
Alright, your suit's all prepped and ready to go. Let's get moving.
Copy that.
Alright, let's get moving.
Ready to go. I'll let you handle opening up and directing me out. Do you have the plan laid in?
Yeah, I've got a plan. Follow me, and I'll talk you through it step by step.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's move.